There are people who have good shock absorbers. There are people who don't. Get to understand your players in and out.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, viewers from wherever you're watching us from. It's your host here at Wima Sports, as always, championing sports development. And we are at Osoita Lodge, indeed, where guests become family. Speaking of family and guests, you know, it's growing bigger and bigger here at Wima Sports. And today we are here with a great guest who you shall get to know and hear. She'll introduce herself in a few. But ladies and gentlemen, just to welcome and just to remind us of last week's interview. I hope you saw it. Last week's episode was really crispy and had lots of nuggets. If you didn't, just go and watch it once again. It shall be up here on the screen and you shall see it. Check it out about sports marketing, and Coach did a lot of justice with that. So we welcome you to see it. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Karibu.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes.
It's a privilege. My name is Salome Njoroge. I'm a counseling psychologist, stroke addiction counselor, and I've been in this field for more than 12 years.
12 years in this field?
Yeah.
So how did you get in it? What made you decide after high school, mimi ni psychology?
Actually, it was not after high school. I did several courses, but I found I didn't belong there.
Okay.
I did agriculture, I did nursing, but I felt I didn't belong there.
Okay.
I needed to understand myself as well, understanding other people and what the issues they go through. Because of my family background, we have issues with mental health problems at home, and I decided now I need to understand myself as well as my family and the community.
Which is now important. You're talking about a very important thing that I think is important across all careers. For you to be of value service, you need to understand yourself.
Yes.
Very important, right?
Very important.
How?
Self-awareness.
So someone who's looking to understand themselves, how can they get to you?
Well, they can get to me through my phone or through the email. I'll give the number 0725 937 553. Or my email is salomenjoroge75@yahoo.com.
Okay. So sports psychology. Today, viewers, we're talking about sports psychology and mental health in sports. Another very important aspect of sports development. I mean, if an athlete, you know, normally athlete goes through a lot. Psychologically, I can imagine what for example, the rugby team went through, you know, just feeling being relegated. We've been relegated as a nation to a lower rank in our rugby. We are from a rank that we've been there for a long time. And I can imagine what the psychological, how do you call it? The messages or whatever is going through this athlete's mind. I know I'm coming home. How am I viewing myself? How will I get out of this? As an athlete who represents the nation, how should I position myself to help get the team and the nation back to that level? These are some of the struggles athletes go through, and we've seen many athletes even in the professional world, NBA, football, English Premier League, American football, talk about mental health and withdraw themselves from the team when they're having struggles of mental health. So indeed, this is a topic we bring to you, viewers, and because of its importance and how much it plays towards a player's effectiveness, efficiency, and performance. So just to kick us off, how important is mental health in sports performance? And you know, what are some of these common psychological challenges that athletes face?
Well, mental health is very important when it comes to athlete or any sport. This is because when you are mentally well, you will be able to curb or maybe deal with the stresses or challenges that normally come with sports. Number one, if you are not mentally well, you will not be able to handle the anxiety when it comes to performance. You don't know whether you will win or you will lose. That anxiety comes in, as a person who is anticipating, or especially if you have been away from the field for some time, now going back, you have that anxiety with you. So if you're not mentally well, you might not be able to handle the anxiety of performance. Number two, as a result, maybe you have been in sports and maybe you have failed in one way or the other. If you're not mentally well, you will not be able to handle that loss of the title. And you really need to go through, I say, the stages of loss and grief, because that is something that you've lost. Though maybe not forever, you will definitely maybe come back and get back the title, but it is a loss at that particular time. Handling that loss becomes something that is very challenging for any athlete to handle. Number two, or number three, there's fear of what people will see or maybe perceive you as a loser, or maybe how they will term you. You are more worried about what people will say about you. You have been at this rank now. You are in you are in a lower rank. So when it comes to that, you don't know how to handle such negative comments or compliments that normally come. So mental health is very, very important. And also, there are people who normally go into depression as a result of they were performing and now they cannot be able to perform. So you find someone going through depression. Or maybe it is a physical injury that has occurred. And when you have a physical injury, you either take a long time to go back to the field, or maybe you are at home, you don't know what to do next. So all these physical injuries, they bring depression. They even lower your self-confidence. They even lower your self-esteem, because you were at a certain level, now you're in another level.
Different level. Yeah. So in your experience, you've mentioned 12 years plus. What strategies or techniques have you found effective in helping athletes improve their mental well-being and performance simultaneously? Like, let's say if today you are given the Kenyan Rugby Sevens team, or in your experience, what are some of the strategies that you've really used to help athletes?
Oh, well, even me, when I'm going for any presentation, number one is preparation.
True that.
If you don't prepare well, you're preparing to fail. That is a fact. So preparation, and when we say preparation, we talk of psychological preparation and physical preparation, both of them. You go into that field, you don't know what the outcome will be. So you have to be prepared either to win or to lose. When you win, what do you do with that happiness or that euphoria that normally comes with winning?
Yeah.
If you lose, how will you handle the loss? Because you were anticipating a higher thing, but this time around it's down. So psychologically, you have to be prepared. And also, how will you handle, as I said, the external comments and the compliments that will come?
And pressures.
And the pressures that will come. And maybe still, how will you handle, maybe there are some who are paid a lot of money after winning. How will you handle that? We've seen some sportsmen and women, you get huge amount of money and that's the end of you, because now you are lost into drugs or other things because of the euphoria that comes with the winning that amount of money. Then number two, physical preparation. Are you going for trainings, or how do you tackle when you're on that particular day, or maybe you're in that line you want to run? What are the techniques that you should use? One, breathe deeply. Breathe deeply and then let it out. Relax. Remember, you are not the only one in that field. There are so many people in that field, and they are all competing for one thing. And we cannot all be number one.
Winners.
There must be a loser.
Yes.
Either you can win or you can lose. You see? So you have to be prepared physically. Breathe deeply. Know that I have to focus. Concentration must be there. So when I am tackling this event or the sport itself, I will have to breathe first. No, I'm not the only one. Secondly, no, I can win or lose. Physical preparation is very important.
Yeah.
Also, psychological preparation.
And also, you know, the aspect that, you know, as you said it, that, you know, when you lose, you're not subjected to be a loser.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're not be a loser
it's
forever.
just positions for competitive sports.
Yeah.
But you can come back and get out of that place.
Sure.
So let's say a player is going through all those things. They prepared well. They've done everything well. But now it didn't go their side. On which are the best ways of handling a loss? You know, just like handling the loss of a mom or a dad to death, or a brother or a sister or a friend. How best can athletes handle losses or tough situations to help them be able to get to pick up themselves to the next level?
Wow, handling loss is not an event; it's a process. You do not accept maybe immediately. There's a process that it undergoes until you get to acceptance that this has happened. Number one, as a psychologist, I will assess at which stage is this athlete in, because there's a psychologist who came up with stages of loss and grief called Kubler-Ross, and she came up with 5 stages of loss and grief. Number 1 is denial. This athlete does not accept it has happened to me. I've lost. This, you know, they are still in that denial. The acceptance is nowhere to be seen. And number 2, they become very angry, either with themselves, with other people, the colleagues, the coach, to God. They become angry at everyone. So as a psychologist, when I assess, I will be able to know whether this person is in denial or maybe is in anger stage. And the stage number 3 is bargaining. Why did it have to happen to me? Why not the other person? Why didn't you lose? Why only me who is a loser today? They start bargaining and asking themselves questions. Why me? Not the other person. If I may ask, who would you have wanted to lose? One person must have lost. You know, lazima ange lose, eh? Yeah. One person had to lose. And that day it was me. But that doesn't mean I'll lose forever. And then the 4th stage goes to depression. That is where they find they have the social withdrawals. They feel they are worthless. They feel they can never make it again. They feel even quitting or maybe ending their lives as a result of that particular loss. And it is maybe a single incident loss. But they feel now, I've lost everything in life. Now, the last stage is now the acceptance. After a person has gone through all those stages, they come to acceptance. It's my duty as a psychologist to understand which stage this person is in so that I can help this person to navigate all the way to acceptance.
Yeah, you talked of suicide, and I remembered when in high school, I won't mention the school, but you know, this was a school that they played hockey. They've been in the East African Games for a very long time, back to back years, and now, you know, they lost at the provincial level. And there was a kid, you know, he almost jumped out of the bus because he couldn't handle a loss. And so do you think teams should be aligned structurally with a psychologist? Can you advise Ababu na Mwamba, CS, or the federations of sports that indeed I think teams need to have psychologists?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because before they became athletes, they were human beings. me and you, we are human beings before we became who we are today.
Yes.
Even them, they are still human beings. Even if they are sportsmen and women, they are still human beings. They have the feelings. They have issues at home, which are maybe affecting their performances. They have their personal issues that are affecting their performances. They also have maybe the team issues that are also affecting their performance personally. So it is very, very important for a psychologist or a mentor professional to be there to help them maybe deal with the issues that might be emerging from their family, from the field, from maybe the institution, and because issues are everywhere. And we can't say because they are sports and women, they are not prone to issues. They are. Even handling the winning, as a result of winning, how do they handle, how do they celebrate? Because there are people who celebrate and that's the end of their life. They celebrate, they die. As a result of maybe indulging so much or maybe engaging in risky behaviors. Those are things psychologist or maybe any counselor is very, very paramount to any sports club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And definitely also with the wins, how do you maintain it?
Yes.
How do you maintain being there? Yeah. So how can athletes cultivate a positive mindset and develop resilience to overcome setbacks and failures in their athletic careers? I think we've covered that a little bit already, unless you have something that you can add on ways in which athletes can cultivate that mindset, build that strong mindset to be able to develop resilience.
Number one, there have to be, or if I am the sportsman or the woman, I will have to equip myself with something we call mental health toolbox. Mental health toolbox comes with several issues or several aspects that I can help me cultivate that. One, positive self-talk. I can be able to do this. Leave alone what other people are saying, but for me, I can. Number two, building my self-confidence. I have trained, and this is me who is going to face that. Let me not have those goosebumps, because I am confident of who I am. Either I lose or win. That is me. Self-confidence. And number three, equip yourself with the people who add value. Do not equip yourself with people with negative comments always, because they will always bring you down. Equip yourself with people who are adding value to you and to your career. Because there are some people who are just prone to bringing others down through their comments. And number four, be close to your coach as much as you can. By doing that, he or she will be able to guide you on the areas that he or she feels you need some improvement. Yeah. And number four, seek help. Seek help whenever you are facing a certain challenge, either from home, either from the field, either from the coach, or either from seek help. Do not keep it to yourself, because the moment you keep it to yourself, you burst.
Yeah. Definitely. Are there any specific mental skills or techniques? I think that we've covered already. What roles does self-confidence play in an athlete's performance, and how can athletes build and maintain a healthy level of self-confidence? And when I read this question and I talk about it, I think of Eliud. If you watch Eliud Kipchoge's interviews, he's so confident.
Yeah.
Are you retiring? No, I'm not. Not yet. Yeah. And I think part of it, you've said, it comes also with the preparation.
Yeah.
So how can athletes cultivate this self-confidence and be able to build it and maintain a health level of that?
Yeah, as we said, you have to the ones I mentioned about the toolbox. equipping yourself with the right people, positive talk, self-talk. Sometimes you see people talking to themselves. It's normal and it is very healthy. It's because they have a lot of issues in them. They just want to let some out, but they don't know the right channel to do it. So you find people talking to themselves. It is very healthy. Positive self-talk. Tell yourself, I can do this. Number 2, always know that the best personality, I always say, is where personality is over emotions. P over E.
P over E.
Yes.
Personality is over emotions.
You are not controlled by emotions. I lost. So that the lost thing is still in my mind, lingering in my mind. It will affect you for the coming event. Let your personality be over your emotion. Be in control of your own emotions. I lost. Someone said this to me. My coach told me this. My family told me this. If you put all those things in your head, they will bring you down. Be on top of them. Then, number 2, find for ways that you can deplete or maybe deal with the anxiety that comes with. It is the starting point. I am going to the field. Deal with the anxiety. When you're standing in that line, as I said, the technique that you use, breathe in, breathe out, answer safari. And spend time in nature.
Spend time in nature.
Spend time in nature. You've been in the field. You just see the ground, the playground there. Go somewhere different. Distract those thoughts of the field. At least for a moment to have that self-reflection on yourself.
Yeah.
You see? That self-reflection. Go to Karura Forest. Spend time with trees. Talk to them. Shout. Go to Ororua. This Ororua garden.
Yes.
Shout. Nobody will ask you. Nobody will see whether you are crazy or not. But it's healthy for you. Speak to that tree, even if it will not respond to you, at least you brought it out. And as we said, preparation. If you don't prepare, you're preparing yourself to fail.
You mentioned something about how to channel it out. So minus, speaking self-talk, you're speaking to nature and all these things. What are the other aspects of channeling it out? How best can you channel it out minus, just the,
Like in a gym, I love one of the politicians. I will not mention his name. He has the best way of channeling his emotions. When he's angry with someone, bigger gates, punching the gates. That's a best. You're not beating people.
Yes.
But you're channeling your emotion to that gate or to that wall. That is one way of channeling emotions to a place where you're not happy.
Is it harmful? Because you'll end up hurting yourself.
When you hit and you feel pain, you stop concentrating on what is in your head, you start concentrating on the pain. You have distracted yourself. And by the time you are coming back, now the emotion, it is now a bit down, not intense as it was. Number 2, we have the aromatherapy. Go to places where there are flowers. You start concentrating on the scent of the flowers and not what is in your head. By the time you are coming back to what was in your head, it is now...
That's a nice one,
Then talk to someone. A problem shared is halfway solved, isn't it?
Yes.
A problem shared is halfway solved. Talk to someone. You are not the only one who is going through this. There are many people who are going through this. And knowing that you are not the only one, you will be able to talk to people, get different ideas of how you can deal with whatever you are going through. So, talking to someone, admitting this is what happened to me, accept it, and then share it with someone. If maybe you don't have someone to talk to your God, whoever you believe in. Yeah. Because we don't tell people talk to God and some they don't believe in God. Whatever you believe in, talk to it. Talk to it. Channel whatever you're going through to it.
Yeah, so in sports there is competition and there are aspects of, setting goals and all these. How in the approach of goal setting with athletes, how do you get to, or what best ways can you advise them to definitely set a challenging goal, but it has to be realistic as well.
Yeah.
How does that come into play with mental health and emotional well-being?
There's a saying that always make plans. When you don't plan yourself, then you're planning to go down. And when you plan to go down, it means you have no goal with you. Just look at an example of people playing football. You talked about the Premier League and all that. They have goals, you know?
Yes.
On that side and on that side. So they are kicking the football towards
that goal.
If you don't have that goal, where will you kick the ball?
Yeah.
Nowhere.
Nowhere.
That means if you don't have a goal in your life is heading nowhere. You have short-term goals. You prioritize on the things that you want to achieve soon. Short-term goals. And we have the long-term. After this profession, because I will not be running forever, I will not be playing rugby forever, I will not be a footballer forever. What else can I do outside my profession? From this profession, what will I do? Because we have seen so many of them after coming out of the field, their lives becomes miserable. Sorry to say. Because I won't say they didn't have goals. Maybe they had, but they didn't materialize. But how they plan? They plan themselves during the time they were very energetic, and during the time they were in the field and earning. You find some events, their children are unable to feed, go to school, and they were in sport and having good money. What are the long-term goals? What do I want to become after this profession? So having short-term goals will help the long-term goals to materialize.
Yeah, so in a sport we have team sports and non-team sports. So do you have any advice for coaches and teammates on how they can support and create a positive mental health environment for their fellow athletes?
What I can say to the coaches is that, or even not only coaches, but even to parents out there, we were created in a very unique way. Me and you, we are different. My capabilities are not your capabilities.
Yeah.
My talents are not your talents. What I can achieve is not what you can achieve. Let's treat our players, our children, equally without discriminating according to their abilities. And also, not putting negative comments on them. There's one parent who told the girl that she was so ugly that she'll never get married. When the girl grew up, even my mom knows I'm ugly, can never get married. So if this coach tells someone that you can never do this well, that thing sticks to their mind. And that lowers that player's self-esteem. Especially when you tell them in front of everybody. If you see some weaknesses in either of the players, call that player aside, talk to them, ask them what they are going through one-on-one instead of correcting them on. Let me give you a good example. I wanted to do nursing. I never completed. Why? Because the person who was in charge, I missed the line. And he told me, you can never be a nurse. My friend, it was the morning class. I never went to that class and I will never go back to nursing. Why? Because something negative was instilled in me as that person was talking. So it was instilled in me. So treat people equally, know their capabilities, get to understand the mental status of your players. There are some who have high level of tolerance.
Yes.
and there are some who don't have.
High level of tolerance, yeah.
There are people who have good shock absorbers.
Mm.
There are people who don't. Get to understand your players in and out of the field. Yeah.
And that is a very key point, because a team might be struggling, but it's only struggling because of what the coach constantly says.
Yeah.
Because of the mindset, the environment the coach constantly creates. So thank you for bringing that up. That's a very important point. Can you share any success stories on examples of how athletes have significantly benefited from any psychological interventions you've had with any athletes?
Yeah, I wouldn't mention their name because it's confidential, but there's this it was a marathon, and one time he lost. So when he came to me not as at the end a different issue. It was about drugs. Because he lost, he started drinking. And substance abuse is one way of coping with what you're going through inside yourself. You're trying to fix something that you're going through
substance abuse.
So he was brought to me as an addict, a person who is hooked in substance abuse. And when I was talking to this guy, I was able to understand what he was going through, because there were so many people who had very high expectations of him that he could not handle. There were so many people who were looking up to him as a role model, but now he has failed. But after several counseling sessions, that athlete went back doing very well. One, he learned from his past that failure is part of life.
Yes.
Number two, he learned that whatever is in me is greater than whatever is coming from outside. And it improved his performance a lot. You can't even say he was an alcoholic. When you see him on TV celebrating, you can't say he was once an alcoholic. Though we are still in constant communication with him. Whenever he's facing a certain challenge, he's able to call or to reach out to me and say, I'm going through this. So performance is key. When it comes to mental health and someone is have good mental well-being, the performance will be there. And the self-esteem, the self-confidence, and having that self-awareness about what they are going through. It's very important. And that is what I have been dealing with in this client. I've seen his performance improve
greatly.
Yeah.
We've spoken about the challenges and all that, and what are some of these specific mindful relaxation techniques that you can incorporate for training routines? Let's say a sports team. What are as you train your body, you train you need also to train your mind. You need to train your mental health. In what ways can sportsmen or athletes train their mental health or their mind as they prepare for maybe an event or just constant training?
Relaxation techniques, when you talk of relaxation techniques, one, take time out. Have a break. Even your body needs. When you drive a car for many kilometers, it
will wear out.
It will wear out.
Yes.
See? So even your body is the same. So you need to take time out. Relax. Then observe your sleeping patterns. There are people who normally sleep at 2 and wake up at 5 for training. That person is already fatigued. The body needs time to rejuvenate. It needs to relax when you're sleeping.
Yeah.
Number 3, go for therapy. Do not put all your issues in your head without letting them out. Relax your mind. Relax your mind. Do not overwork yourself. Do not overwork your mind. And by doing that, it will improve even your performance naturally. Naturally. Yeah. So take time out. As I said, you can spend time with nature, observe your sleeping patterns, your diet, because even diet is very much connected to mental health. Whatever you put in your system, it will even help your mind to function.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you take toxic things, they are affecting your mind. So observe what you eat as an athlete. Your diet is talk of mental and physical. So observe what you eat. Because remember, even the body needs food. Your mind needs food. What do you feed your system with?
Very key right there. So there is how does the mental state of an athlete during training differ from the mental state during competitions? And just as we prepare for an event physically, we can also prepare psychologically. What are some of these differences, and what strategies can athletes employ to bridge the gap effectively?
What I can say in brief is that during your training, train as if you are in competition itself. Put your mind that, yes, this is a training. Let me not see it's just a lenient thing, something that is easy because I am with my colleagues here, we are training. Let me take this, I'm running as if I will not run tomorrow. I'm playing this game as if I will not play it tomorrow. So that when I go to the main competition, I will already be used to doing my best.
Yeah.
From training, I'm doing the best I can. I'm working, or I'm going to this training as if it is the major competition. By the time you get there, you'll always be used. You'll be used to doing it.
Yeah.
So when you put a difference that this is just a training and is the main, when you get there, there will be a discord somewhere. There will be a discord somewhere. Yeah. So train as if this is your last, or maybe this is the best shot you can give during the training. So that when I remember when I was in primary school, I used to run long races. During the training, I would run as if I will not run. It is the main thing, or I will not run tomorrow. So even when I went to competitions, I was already used to it. It's something muswaki faster, because it's not something that I am beginning to do. It's something I have been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any specific techniques, or exercises athletes can use to, sports is emotions. You said athletes are first humans.
Yeah.
Before being athletes. Yeah. So there are issues of anger, frustration, or fear. How can that? Are there any techniques to help maintain focus on performance, despite this feeling of anger, this feeling of emotion, or frustration or fear, but still focus? No, keep calm. I need to win this. I need to do this. Yeah.
We say it's easier said than done. We said personality over emotion, and sometimes it is not easy. You need to have different techniques on how you can be able to distract your mind from whatever you're going through. For example, if you are stressed and you are in this line, ambapo kwa field unacheza futa, see that ball as a channel of releasing that anger or that stress that you kick it. And by kicking it, you already distracted the thoughts that I have kicked the ball and I'm kicking the anger out. The same way, if you're in the line of maybe unakimbia, you're running, that goal, that end, the energy that I will use, let me use it in a way that I am relieving everything in me out.
Ouch.
I am relieving everything in me out.
Mm.
If I am stressed, we say, no, this is a competition. We talk about priority. I'm in a different place with different people. Let me know I am the only one in this field who is running. So I will run as if I have no one else competing with me.
Mm.
Because what happens, you find that the stress or the emotions, they are competing with you the same way this race is competing with you. You see? Yeah. So you have to put a priority.
Mm.
Yes, I know it is not easy, but look for a thought, something that can distract your thought. By even seeing your opponent there, tell that opponent within you, you are not better than me. I am the boss here. So whatever it is, let me channel it to that other person. By competing with that other person, that will help me release whatever it is and to distract the thoughts that I have of stress.
Yeah. You mentioned, how important coaches are.
Yeah.
And towards steering the right environment with the athletes, and which has a ripple effect of their mental health and performance. What role does the relationship between athlete and their coach play in their mental well-being? And how can coaches create a supportive and trusting environment for the athletes?
Coaches are like role models to these sportsmen and women. They are role models from what they say, from what they do, from how they relate other people. They are role models. If a parent have 5 children and is always picking on one every time, or maybe saying you can never do better than so and so, that is so demoralizing. So the coaches should observe the words they use towards their subjects. Because the moment they don't do that, you'll find some of these athletes or maybe sportsmen and women, they start developing inferiority complex. They feel, failure. You are the boss. Some people are better than me. Some I am like this. But when it comes to mental health, coaches and sportsmen and women, how people relate with each other, it builds a great team. It either destroys or it builds. And as we said, they are good role models. How they behave even themselves, how do they deal with their own personal issues? I remember a certain teacher when I was in primary school. If that teacher would come with a red dress, I would always associate with canes, punishment. So even this coach, the moment, just the greetings, the first approach you give to your subject, what tone are you using? Is it a scary tone? Or is it a friendly tone? Because that will make them maybe feel comfortable with you, feel free with you to share whatever they are going through. And by that, you improve even their performance as individuals. But if you get your stress from your own home and bring to the team, my friend, the team is down. So, coach, one is a role model, is a teacher. These people are looking up to this coach to guide them. If the coach himself cannot guide himself, who is to guide who? Number 2 or number 3, you are like, okay, not their boss, but they are looking up to you in kind of information or maybe support. What kind of support are you offering them? When they come to you, I have an issue. Do you push me away? If you push me away, will I ever come back to you?
No.
Definitely. So the relationship between coach and the subjects or the people who is coaching, it's very paramount. Let them remember they are role models, and all these players, they depend on them in each and every aspect.
So in mental or psychological struggles for athletes or just in general, there are usually potential warning signs or red flags that indicate an athlete may be struggling with their mental health. And how can coaches and teammates provide appropriate support when maybe they see these red flags before it gets to us?
One, first of all, we need to understand the red flags that normally come to athletes, and how do they identify them. Number one, if you find, as an athlete, if you find you have low moods every now and then, seek for help. There must be something somewhere that is not going on well.
Low moods every now and then.
Every now and then. A lot of irritability. Something small you created to become haunting. Maybe a coach said something in a friendly way, but you take it personally, you become now irritated, agitated, anger crops in. Seek help. There's something that is triggering. That moment, it triggered somewhere. Then a lot of excess fears and worry. Will I make it? Will I win? Will I lose? What will people say? Those fears. Seek help. Always seek help. Do not wait until they are too much. Then when you find you are having social withdrawal, for example, we are in a training session. Yes, after the training, people will normally come, chat, but then you socially withdraw yourself and sitting somewhere alone after the training. Ask yourself, what am I thinking about? What am I thinking about? And a lot of, poor sleeping pattern. I'm not able to sleep at night. I'm always thinking. I have this tension in me. So those poor sleeping patterns, I'm not sleeping enough because, not that I don't want, but I don't have the sleep. The sleep is not coming. So you have poor sleeping pattern. So, and a lot of thoughts, suicidal thoughts, suicidal thoughts, suicidal ideas, or maybe some attempts. Seek help. Seek help. The coach should be able to identify what this person is going through in one way or the other. If I see you seated at a corner, alone, as a coach, I will call you and get to know what is really good. Why are you social? So when we talk of counseling, that is now where the counseling comes in, and that's why we said counseling is paramount to any sport. Because you will be able to identify the problem before it gets out of hand.
Athletes, you talked about the issue of life after competition. And for you to prepare for that life after competition, definitely you have to strike a balance while you're still competing. So how can athletes strike a balance between the athletic pursuits and other aspects of their lives, such as education, relationships, personal well-being, or to prevent any burnout and maintain an overall mental health?
There are people who are still in school and they are sportsmen. I would say, how do you plan your time? This is a period of athletics or maybe sports, and it's time for education. If I am to compete maybe in November, and I'm still in school, I need to come up with a timetable of, yes, I'll be running in the morning and then going to class. In the evening, I relax because the body also needs relaxation. But if you train in the morning, you train in the evening, and education at the center, that means your system will not rest. Then, because you want to progress in your career and there is life after this athlete, there is life after field. Whatever I am doing, maybe it's the studies. Let me put more energy, or maybe equal energy with the sports, because it's the one that is supporting this career that I'm pursuing. And also, if I am a family man, what are the times that I am free? At least 1 or 2 days when I am with my family. Because at the end of the day, even if you're in the field, even if you're in school, you still go back to your family. You see? So you also need to create time for your family as well. Because there are people who are in the field and maybe they forget their own families. After the field, where will they go? So striking a balance, come up with a daily timetable. It's the field, from field to my education or maybe career that I'm pursuing. Then the rest of the time is my time and my family. You have to have a timetable. We call it a time planning timetable. From this time to this time, I'll be doing this. A structured timetable. And don't forget to leave some time for yourself. Yeah. Leave alone for the family. Some time for yourself. You really need it. You really need it. You need to reflect. You need to rest. You need to do things, your own personal things. So when you're planning on your timetable about your sports, career, family, do not forget yourself.
Yeah. And how can athletes, bounce back from setbacks? There is the injuries, there is both physical and mental injuries or stresses. There's, what's the important, you've talked of families or friends. How important is these support systems that they should be around out of the field, and also what resources can you share in terms of that are available to assist in helping them recover from such time?
Yeah. Have you seen that village jiko with 3 stones?
Yes.
If 1 stone is not there, Korea will not be on that path. Isn't it?
Yeah.
That whole support system is very, very important to these clients who has had a physical injury or a mental injury, for their support. It's just like that small toddler who is learning to walk. He needs someone to hold
their hand.
To hold their hand so that they can be able to walk. The same way, the coaches, the family, the government needs to hold hand. This athlete who has been injured, has been out of field for some time, to hold them so that they can come back to the system. If that athlete is not well, that means their whole thing is dysfunctional. Because that whole system, from the government, from the family, from the athlete, is like this whole house. If one pillar is rotten, the house does. So if that athlete is not well, who will the coach?
No one.
The government will say our sports and women are lazy. But the family goes down. So the support system is very, very important, very key for this person's recovery and coming back to the field once again. Whether materially, emotionally, psychologically, pharmacotherapy, or they need to be inclusive.
Pharmacotherapy. What is pharmacotherapy?
Pharmacotherapy is if this athlete really needs to use medication.
Okay.
If there is any medication that is to be used. That is what we call pharmacotherapy.
Gotcha.
Psychotherapy now is counseling, and then the social therapy is from the family, the government.
So that entire support system has to be there.
Yes, there has to be this part.
Do you think, you know, as a professional in this area, do you think psychologists taken seriously in sports in our country?
Sorry to say, no. We, as a psychologist, most of the time we are not recognized in sports. And not only in sports, but in different fields that really need psychological help. It's upon the government to understand that, as I said, before they became sportsmen and women, they were first of all human beings. They have issues. They are going through things. In that field is not a bed of roses. Even roses, they do have thorns. They really need psychological help. But who will do that if the government does not recognize psychotherapy in sports? I would urge the government to do something. We have seen so many sportsmen and women, some even committing suicide, some going bizarre, yani they're not in the right state of mind as a result of that. We have seen some killing people. Case that was, I think, in Western. Someone killing a girlfriend. Or maybe other sports and women indulging in drugs. You know, there are some who are using doping. Where are they doping? Because they lack that self-confidence. The self-esteem is low. That's why they need psychotherapy. Even to create awareness of what they are using, what is doing to their system. You see? Because not only about the winning and the doping, but the damage it is causing to their system. The government should include psychotherapy in sports a lot. A lot.
In 2 minutes, if you had a chance, you know, to sit with CS Abaguna Mwamba and First Lady of the Nation, and you are given this chance to talk about psychotherapy in sports, what will you tell them as you look at camera one?
Well, psychotherapy is paramount. We need these people in good shape as we send them out there to represent our country. But who is to bring this good shape psychologically? It is the counseling sessions. Give them time to go for counseling therapy. Provide a conducive environment for them to air out their issues, what they are going through. As I said, they are also human beings. You and me, we know we have issues. The same, even them, they have issues. So provide a conducive environment where they can air out their issues and where they can speak their mind, where they can feel accommodated to share without discrimination. And that's through psychotherapy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And indeed, viewers, at Wima Sports, we are championing sports development, and we have been championing sports development with psychotherapy. We want and we are pushing for psychologists to be brought into the sports industry, to be able to not just hinder all these other bad things that happen, but also level up the efficiency and effectiveness and the level of competition for sports athletes and federations and sports teams. And before we conclude this, let's go into the quick fire segments. If you watch sports, your best sports documentary, you have any?
Fieldwork marathon.
Your best sports athlete? I saw it coming. Being a marathoner, I knew you're going for Elliot.
Yeah.
Yes. Best recovery method or equipment you use when maybe you used to run. How did you recover from fatigue or anything?
Relaxation, spending time with nature, spending with people who add value to me, who make me laugh. And they people who value me, not those people who drag me into things that will harm myself.
Gotcha. Indeed, it has been a great time having you here, Salome. And maybe before we finish, there is Zenesis. Tell us about Zenesis.
Well, Salome, I work at Genesis Retreat and Wellness Center. It's a drug rehabilitation center. We call it Genesis Retreat and Wellness Center because of the stigma that is associated in the society. We don't want to call it a rehabilitation center because we believe, or we know, we've seen that addiction or maybe drug and substance and mental issues, they are very much stigmatized in the society. So when you are in a rehab, they associate the rehab with a mental facility. So that is why we came up with Genesis Retreat and Wellness Center, because we want to bring excellence in mental health. We are located in Ongatarongai off Masai Road as you go to Nazarene, just before Osoita. So that's where we are. You can reach us through our website. We are accredited by NACADA and KMPDC.
Yeah. So viewers, if you are a sports athlete, you just finished your season, or you have one of those red flags that she talked about, and you have any issues that are coming up, or if you are a sports team and you had challenges within your team and you need a psychologist, or you need someone who understands mental health and sports psychology to come and help you get to the next level, to come and help you improve your level of performance, your level of understanding yourself, maybe because you can't compete if you don't understand yourself, then Genesis is the place to go to, and you can find them through us. You can also get their contacts that we shall put down there on the description box, so that you get to know more about them. Indeed, viewers, it's been a great honor having you, and we are looking forward to the next one. As always, Wima Sports, championing sports development, and we are at Osoita Lodge, indeed, where guests become family. Welcome and be part of the family. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, because we are bringing you great content to champion you and your sports development. Until next time, viewers, it's your host, as always, Jameno Diambo, thanking here Salome for great insights today. May God bless you in what you do and add you more strength.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Salute.